Welcome to the latest edition of the Fourth and Gold NFL podcast. Glad to be going through this off-season with you, Paul. It's slow but steady, and we're getting closer to the draft. And I thought today we would look at a couple of the top edge prospects in this draft. So to start off with, I thought it'd be a bit fitting on something that I saw this week. It's a no lose, no win kind of question, but can't remember the page I saw it on, but it said one has to go. So I'm going to give you the names: Reggie White, Aaron Donald, JJ Watt, Myles Garrett.
Wow. Reggie White can't go from any list. I don't care. He just cannot go.
Before my time, but I know the story. I can't. I agree.
Yeah, Reggie White was throwing around like Larry Allen back in the day.
Oh
It's
my God.
absolutely huge. Um, it's not an equal list because Aaron Donald plays interior.
Yeah,
So
but that was the question.
you've got three pass rushers and you've got an interior disruptor, like the master interior disruptor. So
Mhm.
I think Aaron Donald could play outside, probably. I mean, he had the kind of short space quickness to potentially play outside. I don't know about his straight line speed to get to the quarterback, but in terms of being shifty, like first movement off the ball, wow.
This is tough because, and I feel like when I was reading the comments, a lot of these people had not seen Justin James Watt play. I mean,
Yeah,
his peak was insane. And
yeah.
he's still the only player in NFL history to have two 20 sack seasons. So this is tough because
I mean, it's between, look, for me, it's between JJ and Myles Garrett for one of them that you have to lose. But because the other guys, like Reggie White, could take over a game himself back in the day, and so could Aaron Donald. He's just ruined the game, like, and where he played in the middle, like you just can't get game plan for it. At least if you're coming from the outside, then you can double them, you can chip them, you can set the back to protect that side too, to slow them down at least.
I mean, Donald was getting triple teamed. So
Yeah,
kind of says it all.
I mean you're coming off like the all-time single season sack leader and then JJ Watt. So this is a no-win question.
Mhm.
And Myles Garrett has done it now over a long period of time on a lesser than team. So, oh, I mean, I hate it, but I would, of those four, have to drop JJ Watt.
Okay.
But I do not like it at all. But it's
Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, you know, I would probably drop Myles Garrett, but the same feeling. I hate the answer.
yeah, it's not an equal question because of the position that Donald plays. So you
Mm.
could have the same question with you could go JJ TJ Miles and Reggie White. And then it would be TJ who would lose.
Yeah.
But Aaron Donald just was a destructive force in the middle. Reggie White kind of pioneered it back in the day. You can't lose him. So it's close, but I think with Myles Garrett, it's recent memory as well. Like I know JJ's not that long out of the league, but he is not the single season sack leader.
True. Yeah.
So
I was gonna say, like, instead of Donald, you probably could have had LT, but I mean, it's almost pointless putting LT in the conversation as well.
Yeah,
Because LT changed the game.
Yeah, and then if it was those four, then I would still lose JJ.
Yeah.
But for me, it's between JJ and Myles Garrett. But Myles Garrett is an incredible player. But they're all incredible players. That's the thing. So I'm interested. What was the internet opinion?
The internet opinion was like JJ Watt is quite overrated.
Wow,
and I was like, okay.
No, that's not true.
I don't think you will have been. I think these might be younger commenters.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I saw that and I was like, there's no good answer here.
No, there's really not. There's really not. But Reggie, they might not have grown up watching Reggie White. It might just be an NFL Films kind of thing, or just by hearing the name. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, a bit of fun to start off with. I thought we'd get to kind of the news that has circulated over the last week, and it starts off with, and this happened just after our last pod last week, Kirk Cousins signing with the Raiders. So Kubiak had said that starting a rookie quarterback was not his preference. So to me, it feels like Cousins is going to start. I know the contract numbers were a bit wacky, but the way I interpret it is it's kind of a 1 year, $20 million deal. But the Raiders did something a bit, I suppose well within the rules. It's $10 million this year, and there's a roster bonus in 2027. And why that's important is that Cousins was released by the Falcons, and so he was subject to offset. So the Raiders are going to pay $1.3 million this year, and the Falcons are ending up with the bill for the other 8.7. So if the Raiders had just given him a 1 year, $20 million deal, they would have paid the whole lot. So a bit of accounting there for the Raiders. But in terms of the move, what's your thoughts, Paul? It seems like Mendoza probably won't start the season.
Yeah, that's exactly what it seems like. And when I heard the news, or when I heard the interview with Kubiak saying that his preference is to not start a rookie, that suggests to me that the Raiders knew that at the time he was being interviewed for this job. So they had showed interest in Cousins from a long time ago, I've heard. So this was telegraphed from the Raiders. They identified their head coach. Their head coach has obviously said during the interview process, because it's not a secret, the Raiders are going to take Mendoza. So, and the head coach has come in and said, look, I don't really want to start a rookie. Okay, right. So then we're shopping for who's a veteran quarterback on the open market that we can get. And yeah, I think that this was a done deal a long time before it was a done deal. In terms of the Cousins part of this, not just the Kubiak part of it. So Kubiak came in with his philosophy, and I am certain that they were in talks with Kirk Cousins before they were allowed to be in talks with Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Like, no tapping up, no tampering in the NFL. But this is very un-Raiders-like to have a plan from some time ago and actually execute it. So, because the head coach has identified his theory, and if they weren't good with this, they would not have hired him as a head coach. So we'll see how it plays out. They've been bad for a long time. Right. So if they're bad for 1 more year, or they're mid for 1 year with Kirk Cousins, and they get through some offensive line. They've got the center now. If they add some pieces to the offensive line in this draft and even in next free agency, if Mendoza does sit the full year, then what's one more year in however many years of sucking since 2001, since they last went to the Super Bowl. So yeah, this is an interesting move by the Raiders, and I support it from them, because what is one more year when it's been 25 since you've been to the Super Bowl? Because if you're 7-10, like 6-11, and you get the offensive line, you improve the offensive line, then you have the quarterback in the locker room that you've drafted number one. So, they're drafting him for him to be a quarterback of this team for 15 plus years. And from what I know of Kirk Cousins, if he's come in and he's cool with the theory, then Cousins will be a good teammate. And Cousins would help Mendoza. Not this, you hear Rodgers and Brett Favre back in the day, and even like Big Ben, like, no, I'm not going to help the rookie. That's not my job. Well, yeah, but you're still paid by the franchise to. If you get hurt, then it helps the franchise if the guy can actually execute the playbook. Like, that's a bit of a dick move. But anyway, Kirk Cousins is cool with it. Kubiak is cool with it. The Raiders are cool with it. This was obviously a theory, a plan from them from the jump, from when they identified Kubiak as their number one head coach. So for the Raiders, if you take a step back, you go, wow, they've got the number one overall pick. They identified the head coach that they wanted. He was their number one target. And they identified the quarterback who was available to come in and help their number one draft pick quarterback. And they're only paying him $1.3 million. So, yeah, I kind of love it for the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to forget that it's new head coach, new, offensive system, bad offensive line. Okay, with a center now, and more to come. I think they took the Niners guard as well, Burford. It would be easy to just throw Mendoza out there, and I mean, we saw with Cam Ward last year what happens when you've got no protection. So I do like this move as well. Cousins on the minimum, and I think he'll be on a reasonably short leash. Like, if the play diminishes, Mendoza could come in for the second half of the season. Like, we've seen it time and time again before. I don't think sitting is harming him, like in this situation. Like, it might help him, actually. And as you said, I don't think Cousins is going to be difficult. It's almost like a reversal of roles for Cousins, because he signed with the Falcons not knowing that they were going to draft Penix. And it's almost like a reverse. Now Mendoza's coming in, and Cousins has kind of come through the door, at least, late on. So I think they'll be just fine.
Just one further point from me in terms of the play as well. Like, the Kubiak offense is heavy run game, play action offense. And Mendoza did not run that at Indiana. So, and that's not easy for a rookie quarterback to come in and to have his back to the field and then turn around and have to throw, to fake the run and then turn around and immediately have to throw. So he has to learn that. And Kubiak runs that. So, and Cousins knows that.
Yeah.
Cousins has been running in play action offenses for a long time. So Yeah, because it could have been a bit of a car crash. Bad O-line, play action offense, rookie hasn't run this offense. It could have been bad.
Yeah,
So I think in terms of the play and the player who they're asking to come in and fit this scheme, it does make sense.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So moving on to another quarterback situation. I know we've been down this road before, but more reports have come out after, importantly, after the league meetings. This team obviously didn't want this released before. But basically, the Philadelphia Inquirer, who are close to the Eagles, the moment the meetings were over, reported that the Eagles have no intention of signing Jalen Hurts to an extension unless the play improves. And this shouldn't be like surprising because Chris Sims has been reporting for 2 years now that people in the Eagles organization have told him Jalen Hurts doesn't want to expand the offense. But it sounds like this is the moment where he's going to have to because they've brought in, I want to say, is it Sean Mannion, the old backup quarterback? His scheme apparently is all like motions and play action, under center, the stuff that reportedly Hurts has not wanted to do.
Okay.
So I think Hurts is entering the final year of guaranteed money. So I think it is the time where he is going to have to step into discomfort and run a different kind of offense.
Mm. Yeah, it's a bit of a surprise to me because I just look at Hertz's record. I know that he's not your conventional quarterback, but he does win big games. And he has had what a different OC. Is it every single year that he's been a pro? Like it feels like that anyway.
And
So
is there a reason for that though?
well,
Because either they fired the OC, or I think maybe 1 year was it Kellen Moore? Kellen Moore got a head coaching job after they won the Super Bowl.
yeah.
But even then, even in that Super Bowl winning year, they had the worst passing offense of any Super Bowl winner. So as much as they win these big games, I do question, you're paying this guy 50 million a year. Is he actually giving you that value? Or could you have won it with a rookie? That's
Or,
just my question.
or is it that everybody's just falling out with each other in Philadelphia? That now that they did not win the Super Bowl, that the cracks are starting to appear. Because I'm not an Eagles fan. I don't have a great insight into this team. But look, you've got like an RPO style quarterback. You know who he is. Like he is not a drop back, read four different receivers and then
Yeah.
check it down. He's not that guy. And you've got what probably the best offensive line in football. And you've got Saquon Barkley. So you know this is how you've constructed your roster, and now you're not happy with the product. But you were okay with the product when you won the Super Bowl, but it was the same product. But now it's a year later, and now you're not happy with the product. So now you're talking, and now you're talking that we're not going to extend him. Okay, but if AJ Brown was happy with him, would this story have come out? I don't know. Is it genuine or is it the Philadelphia media just talking smack because they haven't lived up to their expectations? I don't know. The Eagles, look, best offensive line, Saquon. Jalen Hurts has never been that quarterback. So what do you want?
But Saquon wasn't Saquon last year because it's almost like it's just the classic. He went crazy, and what do you think every team that was going to face the Eagles the following year did? They're going to make sure that Saquon's not going to go off.
Yeah.
So I I think there's been too many reports now. Like I don't think that like the media is making it up.
Yeah.
And the way that Chris Sims talks about it, like he's not someone that just, flies off the handle and makes stuff up. Like he is reporting from the source.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They do not like each other in Philadelphia. It just seems like that. There is two degrees of and the open disrespect of AJ Brown to be reading a book on the sideline is, because it wasn't like an Antonio Brown kind of truly crazy moment where he like took his shirt off and walked off the field.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's so disrespectful, and that got kind of swept under the rug that, oh, well, he's not happy. Look, he's got enough time to read a book. No, he's disrespecting the whole team by that action.
That's fair.
The heat went on to the play calling and Jalen Hurts rather than AJ Brown. That was my take of that. And now it just seems to have snowballed. It's Philadelphia. They've got hostile media. They didn't win the Super Bowl last year. I mean, they still won the division. There are probably 20 something teams around the league that would kill to be in the Eagles situation. So be careful what you wish for. But yeah,
I just think though, you look at the roster and how the hell did the Niners go in there and beat them? I'm sitting there thinking we're going to go into Philadelphia and we're going to get our asses kicked.
Yeah.
Like we did the following week. But I'm looking at that team and you're looking at the Niners defense and you're saying, how did they hold them to whatever it was, under 20? Like whoever, what, and you might be right. It might be just that everyone is not getting on, but whichever way you look at it, this offense seriously underperformed last year for what they should have to offer.
But it's the same offense.
Yeah.
They didn't execute last year, and so Kellen Moore was gone, and they didn't execute. Basically, would be my takeaway. But I wasn't, I'm not an Eagles fan. I wasn't heavily invested in the Eagles game. Like, yeah, their offense sucked last year, and you were watching it. Damn, this is a really boring, like pedestrian offense. It's run, and then it's a throw up to the outside, like.
And that's been the issue that's been raised continuously, that Hurts won't expand the offense, and that's I think we saw them try it against the Chargers, and okay, he's thrown a few picks, but it looked a lot better. Yeah, okay, he's made a few mistakes because it's the first real time that they've tried something different, but then they went back to we're just gonna run inside zone.
But Hurts hasn't changed the player that he is, even since the Alabama days, even since like he had to leave, he transferred because he couldn't be out Tua. So the guy could be out Tua in college, and he had some success. So he was drafted in the second round by the Eagles, and even people at the time were going, "Wow, like Jalen Hurts in the second round." It's like, wow, hi. And he had some success because he seems, and now, from the character side of things, and he competes and he's a good locker room guy. Now even that's fallen apart. But my point is that Jalen Hurts as a player hasn't changed even since the Alabama Oklahoma days. So you were the ones who extended him in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you get what, it's not a secret, like, and now but I think they should have. I think at the time with the AJ Brown thing, they should have just got rid of him straight away. I mean, I know they've been trying, but like, you know, AJ Brown is not going to change, and the flat out disrespect that he shows, I don't like it, and I think it's a lot easier to replace a wide receiver than it is a quarterback. But I just hope for the Eagles fans' sake that they're making the right call if this is the move that they're making, because I think I think that they should have just dealt with the AJ Brown thing. AJ Brown should not be in this on this roster now. For how long that shit was going on, like to me, that's ridiculous.
I almost think that they both won't be there in a year's time because
Be the case. Like if one of them had gone, and I know which one, and I've made it clear which one I would have picked at the time. This could have been dealt with because I just don't buy that this whole AJ Brown situation isn't linked to where we are now with people talking about Jalen Hurts and
yeah, sure.
Like 2 years removed from a Super Bowl.
But I still stand by it. I don't think that that they're happy overall with Jalen Hurts because he won't expand the offense. That's been a consistent message now, and I don't think that's being made up. That's the issue. So I think either he will have to learn this new offense and be on board with it. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, I still think AJ Brown will be gone this offseason. They can't have another year where they think that, maybe it's all right now. No, it's not going to be all right. You need to move AJ Brown and see what this offense looks, next year with Sean Mannion.
But you also need to bring in an OC who fits your quarterback's play style. Jalen Hurts hasn't changed as a player really since, like I said, since college. So what are you doing if you're bringing in like an expansive offensive coordinator? No, that doesn't suit the quarterback that you have.
But what you're doing is too simple. That's the issue. Like this, we've seen this offense now.
We've seen devastating running games like hello Baltimore, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson from a couple of years ago. You don't need to. You don't. They just need a slightly more inventive style of RPO. Use Hurts in the running game a lot more than what they were doing. So
that's another thing last year I didn't understand. He wasn't running even.
Yeah,
so
they've got to allow for the quarterback. So the pass rush has got to defend the weak side as well from the quarterback, because that's a danger as well. And you just need to execute more. You just need to execute better than what you were. Like football's a physical game. Like I said, I wasn't all over Eagles games, but were the offensive line, were they dominating like they were the previous year? I don't know.
Well, I don't think so.
I would suggest not, because Saquon didn't have the yards. And Saquon's still, last time I checked, a pretty damn good player. But hello, Ashton Genty, if the offensive line doesn't create holes for you, it doesn't matter how good you are as a running back, you're going to struggle if you're, trying to evade guys 5 yards like deep in your own backfield every play. So I don't
know. I do think that gets lost as part of this as well, though. Like I know that we've said that the passing offense is very simple.
Yeah.
The running offense is really simple.
Yeah.
Like they do like 3 runs.
Yeah.
Inside zone. Okay, maybe they will run a toss every now and again. But I'm like, there are more ways to run the football. It's just very, Saquon isn't just I can only run up the middle kind of running back. So regardless of the issues with the passing game, there are issues with the running game as well. I think they got so comfortable with this offensive line is that dominant
Yeah.
We just need to run off and we just need to run inside zone and occasionally throw it outside the numbers.
Yeah.
But that I think you're right. The offensive line wasn't as dominant last year, or teams were just saying we're putting full emphasis on stopping the run game. Okay, well, you need to be a bit more inventive than inside zone.
Mm. And we don't need loads of guys in coverage because the passing offense is fairly simple.
Mm.
So we can't, yeah, I don't know. Because there's still a lot of talented players on this offense, even
Yeah.
AJ Brown is gone. So
I was watching Devonta Smith's best plays yesterday.
yeah,
Please go and check out his best plays because he's insane. Like as a number, well, he's a joint number one in my book because some of these catches he makes like crazy. So yeah, they will be if they trade AJ Brown, they've got a ready-made number one right there already.
yeah, yeah, he's lived up to it coming out of college, coming out of Alabama. Like, people weren't sure if him being so small he was going to make it. But he truly has.
Yeah.
Really, really great player. I love watching him play. Yeah, they've got a tight end. Like you said, they've still got the offensive line. Interesting decision with the offensive coordinator.
Mm.
If they're going to be more expansive, I'm just saying that I don't think it suits the quarterback that they have on this roster. So I don't expect it to go well.
Mm. That's a big question. So I mean, it will be fascinating to see this team if they're going to do something different. From a neutral point of view, I hope they do go a different route because it's been very boring to watch, I've got to say.
Yeah, if they are running motions, like you said, if they're running Devonta Smith in motion because Jalen Hurts is really good at throwing a deep ball. So if they can get Devonta Smith like running, that he's not just lined up outside, if they get him running and then it's a lot harder to cover him and they're throwing it deep, then Devonta Smith could go crazy in fantasy football next year.
Definitely.
So, especially as, AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts are not best friends. I think that's fair to say. So, yeah, Devonta Smith could go truly crazy.
And they've got the secret weapon that is their GM. So we'll see what they pull off in this draft.
Yeah, but it's not a secret who Jalen Hurts is.
No?
He has not changed. He's always been this, he's not a conventional drop back throwing quarterback. And this is why he wasn't drafted in the first rounds. And you took him and you had success with him. And now you're surprised at who he is. Okay. Well, you've had enough time to try to coach him. He is who he is at this point.
Yeah, so after this year, no more guaranteed money. If it doesn't go well, that's where I think we will see a change.
Yeah. Well,
and it will be interesting to see who, in that situation, where he would go. Because he'll have suitors.
Yeah. He'll definitely get picked up by somebody. And I just hope for his sake that they play to his strengths.
So we've had a few, I don't want to say like there's going to be trades, but there's a few disgruntled players, I think, what we've seen this week. And you raised one earlier to me, Paul, which was Devon Achane has not attended off-season workouts. From memory, I know that he is due $6 million this year, final year of his rookie contract. That is grossly underpaid for him, considering the role he's played in this offense. He's basically been their offense the last 2 years. So I don't know what the resolution is here. If I'm Miami, I'm paying. Like we need someone elite in this team.
Yeah. Well, we need to hear from the player. I haven't, at least I haven't seen anything from the player. Just
Mm,
just the news that he did not attend today. But is it pay me or is it trade me? I don't know.
mm.
So when we hear from him, because if he wants to get traded, then I think the Dolphins will facilitate that. And it's good timing for the Dolphins. So at least he's given them notice
Mm.
out from the draft. So they can line up a trade before the draft.
Where could he go?
To 25 teams in this, like the teams that do not have the teams that are not like what San Francisco, Baltimore, Atlanta, you're talking superstar running backs. He's right under that kind of level.
I wonder what he would like if he would go to a contender. I wonder what his demand would be if it would be lower, because
Yeah.
like Seattle just let go of Kenneth Walker.
Yeah,
I
right.
know that they're pretty happy to say we can draft. We know how to draft. Cool,
Yeah.
but at the right price.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, who knows? He seems like a good dude. Like when I've only seen the guy in person on the Hard Knocks one when in the year where they were doing very well. That seems like a good guy in the team building and gets on with everybody and seems like a humble guy. But you don't know. This is his opportunity. He's a running back, so he needs to cash in now. But does he want to stay in Miami and be the guy, or does he want to, risk it not working out somewhere else for the potential upside of being on a contending team?
It's a tricky one being a running back because you just don't know what are you expecting to get, if you're the Dolphins. If
Yeah,
the player, let's say that it is the scenario that he wants to just start somewhere new.
yeah.
Realistically, I don't know what you're going to get, a third or a fourth.
Mm.
I
Well,
think it would be hard to part ways with a second.
so you've got him under contract for 1 year. Obviously, you're not making the trade unless you've already got a deal lined up. You've already got a new deal lined up. So, but the Miami Dolphins, their leverage is that we have him for 1 more year.
And they could tag him as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, it gets uncomfortable. The relationship gets strained, but they could do that. Six million this year, either play for us or don't play. It's a
Mm.
horrible ultimatum, but it is what it is. And then next year, you get tagged and you're playing for maybe 13 or 14.
Yeah. I think the way that the Dolphins have been operating this offseason, I think they will take a trade.
Mm.
So I think it's a good time for a team that, team that have got either got problems in the running game or have mid-level runners.
The Commanders, for example.
Yeah, yeah, because I heard the Commanders brought up as the, if we're not talking stupid, crazy, like, oh, Jeremiah Love's going third overall, that the Commanders are the first place in the draft board where it's at least a question that, but they haven't got a bad running game. That's the thing, the Commanders. They've got that guy, is it
The
Bob?
rookie, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the rookie from last year. And they got another guy in free agency. I forget who they took, but the Commanders.
This free agency.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
let me just look because I know they
Yeah.
took somebody because I heard the two Commanders running backs and it's not like oh damn.
Oh, Rashad White.
Oh boy, okay. Okay.
who
Yeah.
is similar in a way, like a lesser version of an Achane. Like doesn't have his speed, but is
Uh,
that pass catching back?
yeah. 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 The Commanders were the first place where the draft board where Love could it's at least a question. But in terms of Achan, I think it's just what the player wants. And even if the player does want to stay and be paid, I think that the Dolphins would listen to a trade. So I think it's now interesting, like who comes out and is aggressive and
Yeah.
is on the phone to the Dolphins. I'm sure a lot of teams are behind the scenes on the phone to the Dolphins, like trying to figure out something because yeah, they've got what are we now like we're approaching mid-April. They've got 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Got 2 to 3 weeks to figure out a trade before the draft. So with all
If he does stay though, I would be I would be happy as a neutral to see him stay because
yeah,
like Malik Willis doesn't have a lot this year, and I think a lot of people are sort of saying, why did the Dolphins get Malik Willis? Well, because of like the way they've operated this offseason. Well,
yeah,
they're clearing the books, they're clearing the deck. And my idea is that this isn't a 1 year plan. You know, it could look bad this year based on lack of talent, shall we say.
yeah.
But they're building, to be more sustainable instead of having these bloated contracts for players that, you know, they're having a good time in Miami, aren't they? Well, it's a different regime now. Like, they've got Troy Aikman kind of consulting for them. And apparently he's the one that vouched for the guys in Green Bay to come over, the GM and the head coach. So someone like that inputting, and we're seeing like a wholesale change, it kind of, to me, it makes sense.
Look, they've got what is $150 million in dead cap
Yeah.
over the next 2 years.
This year.
This year, 150,
This year.
crazy. So they better, considering where they are right now, they better be totally sure that Achan actually wants to be there before they give him a new contract. If
Yeah.
if he wants a new contract, because you're just coming out the other side of the dead. You're truly in it for the next 2 years with the dead cap. So yeah, you don't want to give big money to a guy who could then turn around and be a problem. I don't think he would be. Like I don't know the guy, but at least what I've seen on Hard Knocks, he seems like he's a good guy. He seems to play with a lot of heart on the field. You know,
And the read option possibilities with him and Willis
yeah,
will at least give this team some life, I think. Like, I don't think it's necessarily fully doom and gloom. Um, can they be a playoff team? I doubt it. And will they lose a lot of games? Probably. But I think what they've done is the right thing. And, we might see something different from them in a year's time.
hmm. But yeah, it's early because we haven't heard anything
Yeah.
except he has not attended. We haven't heard from the player. We haven't heard from the Dolphins. What are they doing? Are they fining him? Are they saying that he's available for trade?
Mm.
We haven't heard anything, so this will be check in again in a couple of days.
Yep, for sure. For sure. So the other guy who seemingly is unhappy, and I think we know why, is Dexter Lawrence. So the reports this week were that he has requested a trade. And this, to me, clearly is about money because he's been trying to get a contract extension for 2 years now. And if you remember the season before last, Sexy Dexy was on a tear until he got injured. 12 games in, he was potentially Defensive Player of the Year, but then he got injured. And so it's very difficult to extend a player off an injury. So, they obviously let him play the last year, and this defensive line didn't live up to, the hype or the potential. And so they're in a flux again this year. Like, he wants to get market value. It's a difficult situation for the Giants, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But we've seen him at his best be very disruptive.
Yeah.
John Harbaugh's just come into this role, so you couldn't probably ask for a better person to be handling this situation. So I fully expect that they will resolve this and he will get a new deal or some sort of bump. But if he didn't, what destinations, and I think there are a few that he could go to. The first one I'm thinking is actually Baltimore, because my man Madubuike, he's it's a neck injury, and that tells me that he might not be back. He's trying to come back, but when it's neck, you just know the writing's on the wall.
Wow, he might not make this year.
I don't know if his career will, if he'll be able to get back. Yeah. Because he suffered that neck injury in week 2 last year against the Browns.
Yeah.
And as I said, whenever it is neck, it's like that could be career ending. It happened to the linebacker at Cleveland, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Neck injury, career ended. So to me, Baltimore made those statements. We wanted to pair Max Crosby with Hendrickson. Here's an opportunity to.
But did they? But
that's what I'm saying.
Really? Yeah.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, Baltimore jumps out because they had no pass rush last year at all, and even Aaron Rodgers was, dancing back there. He had enough time to. Yeah, Baltimore they were aggressive to go fix pass rush and defensive line this year in the offseason. So Baltimore jumps out. Look, it's Dexter Lawrence. Yeah, he's 2 years removed from being one of the best players in the league. Like you said, I think he is tarnished with the Giants, and last year they were, this time last year, oh wow, if the Giants take Abdul Carter, and they did, and then oh damn, they've got Carter and Lawrence and Thibodeau and Burns, damn. And who came out with credit last year? Honestly, of them, Burns, sure, Burns had a good year, but come on, they
as a unit, they really didn't live up.
Yeah, so, and I know most of it was the offense with the Giants, but the defense, because people were talking crazy, wow, this is the best D-line in the league. The Giants, I know, I've got questions. They're still the Giants, still probably going to suck, but the D-line, wow, they might win. That defense could win them 7, 8, 9 games.
Didn't happen.
Didn't work out. So that hurts him. But he's still Dexter Lawrence. He'll still probably find a way onto, say, 10 or so teams in the league. But
if you can't, I can't remember what the injury was, but typically that first year back is, you're not at your peak or you're not at your best level. So, at the age of 28, he's still got some good years ahead of him. And I'm just gonna say it actually. San Francisco.
Yeah.
I know that we obviously traded for Odigizua from the Cowboys, and now I think we've got 2 promising D tackles.
Mm-hmm.
But I say, why not? If the moves that the Niners have made this year, it's what are we trying to achieve? What are we doing? We've got a bunch of older guys now. So what do you think? Is this team good enough to win a Super Bowl? I don't think so right now. So you look at the 49ers defensive line and you say, we need someone that's a difference maker like that. And that could change the way you view it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
And I
still
mean, if I'm just saying, like, I don't think that you're looking at two first rounders for Dexter Lawrence.
no,
So, you know,
no, you're not. No.
is it a second rounder? Would they like a separation specialist at wide receiver in the deal? Because we got one of those potentially. He's been a bit of a problem, but he might not be for you.
Are you talking Ayuk?
Yeah.
Is he still employed by the San Francisco 49ers? Is he not being, are you still just navigating the contract situation before you can get?
Yeah. So the issue here is that his cap number is 15 million, but if we release or trade him, we take 30 million dead cap. So there's no urgency to make this happen before June 1.
Wow. This guy, he played like a really good game, good game of poker, didn't he, Ayuk? Like, because he just did not want to be there from like the moment that that contract was signed.
Yeah. So he's sat out for a year recovering, fine,
Yeah.
but he has to play this year.
What's his story, Ayuk? I know he went to Arizona,
Yeah.
but is he from like is where's he from? Because he wanted to
He
he
played with Jaden Daniels, and my assumption this whole last 6 months was he's going to go to the Commanders.
yeah.
That's just where I think he wants to go
Who the hell wants to go to the Commanders?
because he played with Jaden Daniels. Simple as that. And he's always like in contact with him.
Yeah.
So that's what led me to believe the inevitable is we release him and he signs with the Commanders.
So he went to college. Well, he went to high school in Reno, Nevada, and then Arizona State.
Okay.
Weird. Why the hell would you want to go to Washington?
Yeah. I mean, the story with the 49ers as it goes is that it was a dispute over the rehab.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's face it, the Niners don't have a great history of injuries. So maybe Ayuk was well within his rights to sort of challenge them and say, no, I don't want to do it your way. I
Yeah.
want to do it my way. And that's led to this separation. So I know that I feel like Ayuk has been heavily dragged and maybe for good reason, but I would at least leave it open to say the Niners don't have a great history of injuries. So if he wanted to do it his way,
Yeah.
I can maybe understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. Dexter Lawrence, interesting. I think it does hurt him last year for sure, because I don't think anyone came out with credit on that defense.
So I don't know what he's asking for, but we've got guys now at like 40 plus, and to me, he's not a 40 plus guy as great as he's been.
You told me that, because this is a question that I asked when the Harbaugh thing happened, that Harbaugh brought some of his guys from Baltimore. Because I was concerned for Harbaugh that, what is it, you or is it your support staff?
Ah,
And I remember you telling me that he's bringing some guys with him from Baltimore.
I don't know if that happened. I don't think it did.
Interesting. If he's there in New York on his own,
Well, so I don't know who this person is, but they've got Joe Shane as GM,
yeah,
and John Harbaugh is actually he won. He's the ultimate decision maker.
yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
There is someone else involved, so I think that's probably a John Harbaugh person.
Hmm.
That's it's a bit like it's almost a bit weird. They're going into these contract negotiations with three of them,
Yeah.
but Joe Shane's the GM apparently.
I heard Florio say something that I agree with actually, which is strange, but it was the theory of Harbaugh leaving the Ravens and going to the Giants is he a Ravens disciple, or like as in is he going to follow the protocol of being on the Ravens? We have our draft board and we go for the best possible value, or is he going to do his own thing when he's out of the building? Because in Baltimore, you don't really have the flexibility. They're very much, value, best player available, regardless of position. But with the
And it's
Giants,
worked.
yeah, and it works. And is he a Baltimore guy, or in with his own situation, and he has, like you said, he has fought that battle early doors with Joe Shane and won to have full control? Does that mean he's going to do the Ravens thing, or is he going to do the John Harbaugh thing? Because we don't know what the John Harbaugh thing is, because he's just been doing the Baltimore thing.
Yeah.
So if I'm a Giants fan, I really truly hope that he's bringing over the Ravens philosophy of drafting. Because if it's just him out on an island on his own, then it might not go well.
Yeah, that's fair. So that's definitely one to watch, because they're in the top 5.
They're up there. I don't know their exact position, but yeah, they're right up there. Well, they were. I mean, they were drafted number 1 overall, weren't they, before that Raiders game?
Of course they were. Yeah, so they must be top 5. So it's one of those. Are they gonna?
Yeah, they're 5 in every round, so 5 and 37.
Okay.
So yeah, before that Max Crosby infamous game, they were. So that kind of end of season run cost them all the way down to number 5.
Yep. And if they'd got the number 1 pick, I think they're quite set with Jackson Dart. They probably would have traded back. And we've seen the packages that the number 1 pick has coveted in recent years. Like you can rebuild half your team the way the Bears did it. So
yeah, Dexter Lawrence is interesting. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the player, but like he's a defensive lineman. He's been productive. So if he really wants to be a pain in the butt, then I'm sure he will find his way out of that.
and the question will be, what is he looking for? Because, like, to me, as good as he's been, I'm not paying him like 35 million per year.
Yeah, the Giants have loads of guys there too. Yeah, not on the interior. They're more like pass rushers. But there was talk last year that Thibodeau was going to be the one who was going to be traded. And then Thibodeau had a pretty good year. And then Carter was, had some maturity off-field issues last year, but then kind of his play improved towards the end of the year. And Brian Burns had a great year and always seems to have a great year. So
Thibodeau's not out of the woods, because I think if they pay Lawrence, Thibodeau's probably going to go.
Well, you can't have that many guys, like top-level guys, because while Carter's on a rookie deal, okay, but and yeah, Jackson Dart's on a rookie deal, and Scatterbo's on a rookie deal, but yeah, your roster's got to be a bit better balanced, and if it's not, you've got that many guys on the defensive line, and you're not dominant on the defensive line, then what are you doing?
Yeah. So last order of business, I think, and I think this happened a couple of weeks ago. There was a slight change to Myles Garrett's contract. So Myles Garrett has an option bonus, or he had an option bonus that was due to vest 15 days into the new league year. So basically roundabout now. And the Browns and Garrett agreed to push that back to 7 days before the season starts. So basically moving it to the start of September. I'm sure it's just a protection kind of thing that the Browns are saying, we want you to take it then because we don't want you to take it now and then demand a trade because we've already paid. If we move it back to September and you happen to get traded, we're not on the hook for that bonus. So again, I imagine this is just a formality, but it does kind of open the door to like, are you open to trading him?
Wow, there's a lot of trust in Cleveland, isn't there? Like we have to redo your deal. We just paid you what to be the highest paid.
At the time, yeah, at the time. But then it got usurped by Micah Parsons.
Yeah, but he's still fairly compensated, shall
Oh
we?
yeah, he is. He is. So this was a move by them. Like I don't think Myles Garrett was like, "Oh, could you like delay my bonus?" Like this is definitely a protection move by the Browns.
Yeah.
So if that's their mindset already, they must be thinking that there's at least a 1% opening that we could trade him. Because if they and I don't understand it because you've paid him. He's under contract.
Mm-hmm.
He's going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he kind of, did he sit out for a few days last year and then returned? Like it's not his character to do something like that.
Yeah,
So
he wants to win championships, remember?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
He
I
said
don't know.
he sent that note, that post. Yeah, he wants to win championships. It's not about money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not about money, but money solves a lot of issues. So, he
Mm,
stayed in Cleveland and he had a from what I remember, fairly good year in Cleveland last year. So,
he did.
on a team that suck and they have a lot of problems.
Mm.
So, Myles
He's
Garrett,
he's 30 now, but if you're going to get him, you are going to have to pay the 2 first-round picks.
yeah. Yeah, Cleveland's problem is not Myles Garrett, but they have a lot of. They just need a lot of players. I mean, they interesting on the offensive line. You told me that everybody's gone on the O line and they're ripping it up and starting again. I thought the offensive line maybe I was a couple of years out of date, but I never thought the offensive line was that big of a problem in Cleveland. But they want to start again. I know guys are getting older, but Deshaun Watson's still on the books for one more year.
And they are surprisingly bullish about him now. Like the owners, remember the owner last year? Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a huge mistake. That was a huge bust. And now they're talking like, yeah, there's no reason why he can't be here longer than this year. What is going on?
let's just relax, okay? Let's just wait. Yeah, let's just let him. Let's just see if he can play still, because except maybe was it one half or one quarter against the Ravens? I haven't seen Deshaun Watson has sucked since he came back to
Yeah.
Cleveland. So I think he had one good game against the Ravens. And you were back in the day like one of the biggest Deshaun Watson fanboys.
Yeah.
I remember, and you were like all over that at the time. Like, wow, he played great in that Ravens game, and then it completely went downhill the next week.
Well, I mean, after that game, he had a dislocated shoulder and didn't play
Yeah,
again.
see, it's
So,
tough, man. That's just the way it goes, like NFL. But I would wait to see with Deshaun Watson because he doesn't seem like he's got any confidence at all.
I mean, he hasn't played. I don't know how they can. I mean, if he is in line to compete for the starting job,
Yeah,
then they can't be very high on Gabriel or Shador.
of course he's got to be in line to start for the starting job. Like it's Shador Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. Like we saw Gabriel, like passes
Yeah.
passes were taking like an hour to get there.
Gabriel doesn't like he doesn't have an arm. Like I saw it live in London, and I was like, I know this is your first start, and I don't want to be harsh, but I just don't see it already.
Yeah, that is a true. Of the three, it can't be Gabriel, at
No.
least from what I've seen. And Shador, like very streaky,
Yeah.
exciting, exciting for sure. Like he can throw, but he just quite often throws it to the other team. So, but then he was also,
Monken's offense, though, Monken's offense, well, he was in Baltimore,
yeah,
so the talent level is different. But he, I quite like his offense. I
yeah,
think it is friendly to the quarterback.
yeah,
We'll see how friendly it is with, Jerry Judy and company. But like
yeah,
it should be an improvement in the passing game.
yeah. They need some receivers. I mean, if Jerry Judy's your number one, then you're really struggling.
Yeah.
Like, and Joku, your guy, is still a free agent.
Yeah.
I mean, you got me onto the Joku thing. Like, and when I watch him, he's the kind of guy you love to watch play.
Yeah.
Yeah, he makes some great plays.
But he's been stained by being with the Browns, I think.
Yeah, yeah. The Browns will do it. The Browns is the Browns.
Yeah.
They will do that to you. So yeah, I don't know how, but I'm sure they'll mess it up some way, somehow.
Yeah. Okay, so like we will look we'll look at the draft now, and I was thinking that we would take just a high level look at some of these pass rushes. But before we do that, I think you have something to say about Jeremiah Love or just running backs in general in this draft.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So I had this thought about Jeremiah Love, and it was when I saw that you were wearing a Titans Derrick Henry jersey. And it just reminded me that, Derrick Henry was drafted by the Titans, who had at the time an offensive line. And the Titans fans, and he went on to have, I think it's fair to say, a pretty successful career with Tennessee up until the point that he didn't. And then, of course, they didn't want to pay him. And he's went on to have a pretty good resurrection in Baltimore. But the point is that he was drafted high as a running back. And the teams that are drafting a running back high and it's working out have an established offense and more importantly, an established offensive line. And we saw last year with Genty. Now, Genty actually shocked me, had 1,000 yards. But when you're drafting a guy that high, 1,000 yards isn't enough. So the big takeaway is that, well, Genty was a bust. No, with the offensive line, Geno Smith was a bust. But Genty, just let's see how it goes over the next kind of couple of years. Because Tennessee Titans fans are in their chat rooms and in their fan groups really clamoring for Jeremiah Love because to the Titans fans are saying, wow, this is going to be great. We've got Cam Ward and we've got Salah. He's going to come and sort out the defense and Cam Ward. Okay, but you've still got no offensive line. So, but the Titans fans are romanticizing that, well, when we've been good, we had Derrick Henry, and then we had Chris Johnson, and then back in the day, we had Eddie George. So every time the Titans, and even going back to when they were the Oilers with like Earl Campbell, had success and were a good team, they had a running back. But the running back goes hand in hand with the offensive line.
Yeah.
So I think the Titans just need to be a little bit patient and add more guys to the offensive line. It's not only going to help your future running back, but it's going to help Cam Ward because Pollard and Spears are good players. Like,
Pollard surprisingly can go off. Like he's had a lot of big games.
yeah, and they haven't hit the heights they have. Well, especially Pollard. I know Spears hasn't been anywhere else, but Pollard had success in Dallas with a better offensive line, and it hasn't been as explosive, like you said, in Tennessee. So, yeah, that's the surprising one to me is that Titans fans are going Jeremiah Love because every time we've had a running back, we've been good. Like, whoa, you guys have way more problems than running back. Okay, you actually have two. I wouldn't say they're horrible running backs on your roster right now. And yeah, you guys need to fix a whole lot more problems than running back. So yeah, just an interesting thing, like buyer beware with Jeremiah Love. Is he, and don't get me wrong, he's exciting, but I think anyone taking Jeremiah Love in the top kind of, even before the Commanders, I think the Commanders draft at 7. If anyone takes him before 7, I think it's a big gamble. Big.
Yeah.
I know it's exciting. It's really exciting when you see that kind of player, but you need to have the infrastructure around it to work.
And like your point about Derrick Henry, I mean, if it was Derrick Henry, yeah, regardless, you need an offensive line. But I could almost semi-justify it and say, okay, but he's a physical bruising back. He will break a few tackles, shall we say, and make a few things happen. Jeremiah Love is not built like that. So if he doesn't have an offensive line, you are literally giving him no chance.
I did see in a mock draft this week something that made me chuckle, like with the Jeremiah Love thing. And the first place, this guy had Jeremiah Love being drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals at, I think they're drafting at 10.
10.
And it would be so Bengals to just go, oh, well, yeah, screw it. Like, yeah, we've got no defense. Yeah. But Chase Brown, because Chase Brown, they've got one more year and then they've got to make a decision on Chase. So, yeah, it would be so Bengals for them to just go, yeah, we'll just take the explosive running back and screw it. Like, we're just going to score 50 points a game. Or going to try to.
It really would. But at the same time, for a neutral, that would be pretty exciting because he is a pass catching back. Yeah. So with Burrow there, and it would be amazing on that side of the ball. But
yeah, it would, but
not great on the other side.
Yeah, I mean their defense wasn't great to begin with, and they lost Hendrickson, so I think they should maybe try to even up that scale a little bit with defense. But it's the Bengals, you don't know. Yeah, he could be from a neutral fan, like you said, from a neutral fan perspective, if Jeremiah Love went to the Bengals, being like, oh, wow, this is going to be fun.
Yeah. Do not let him get to. Well, I don't think he will, but don't let him get to the Rams, because when you look at the way the Rams are set up, they could just go, okay, we've sorted out our defense. The weaknesses we had at corner.
But they paid Kyren Williams.
Yeah, they've got Corum as well. It's a tough.
Do that. The Rams. I mean, I'm talking, crazy teams like the Commanders and the Bengals, not the Rams.
Yeah, but
the Rams.
He's not going to go that far anyway.
The Rams are far too well run to do something crazy like that. You're talking Cincinnati and Washington.
Well, it sounds like he's not even going to get that far. But we'll see, it's always the way, isn't it? They, all of the draft experts say top 5, top 5, top 5, and then he doesn't go top 5. So
Yeah, I think he could fall. I think he could drop because
Mm.
I think he's this brand new shiny object. Oh wow, he plays running back. Yeah, that's exciting. No, sometimes just getting a boring tackle or the best player in this draft is according to all experts I've heard is the Ohio State safety. He's the best player. But
Oh, is it Caleb Downs?
yeah, but he plays
Mm.
safety, so it's not exciting. But Jeremiah Love plays running back, and wow, look, yeah, okay,
That's the thing. It's like a top five pick to me. Jeremiah Love could be the best player in this draft, but
yeah,
he's a running back, and that's where it gets difficult to select him that high up.
mm,
Like top five pick. Like for me, it's quarterback or it's edge, and if it's not one of those two things, I'll trade back.
yeah. Also heard the Giants for Jeremiah Love, but that'd be crazy as well. They've got Scaboo, they got Tracy.
Well, it's the Harb. Is it Harbour or is it Ravens? Like
Yeah,
that's not a Ravens like move, so
yeah,
we'll see.
I think that the team that take Jeremiah Love will be interesting. But the first logical spot is Washington in the list. The
That would be
ten-
exciting.
yeah, the Tennessee thing, I think is crazy if they do that.
Yeah, I mean, unless Dayball's got some cover-ups for that offensive line, like we've seen with Shanahan, that's not going to go well.
Yeah,
Okay, so moving on to some of these other prospects, there are two, I want to say, edge rushers that I looked at this week. They are like two of the top guys. There was another one that I didn't look at, but I wanted to look at Arvel Reese. So
yeah,
he's projected to go at number two. And this is very much like a speed rusher.
hmm
And he's only 20 years old, and you can kind of see it in his build, like he's not filled out yet. So it's an interesting one because I don't want to say that he excited me the way Abdul Carter did, but he's kind of that type of rusher. Like he's got good bend.
yeah,
But Ohio State used him in like different ways. He wasn't just like a pure edge rusher. Like there were times where he's like playing middle linebacker almost, or at least starting there and being a standing rusher.
mm,
I don't see, and as I said, he's 20 years old. I don't see a collection of like moves, like pass rushing moves.
yeah,
So he's very raw. But I'm definitely intrigued by it. But at number two with the Jets, it's interesting, like just to analyze their approach to this offseason. They've gone out and signed it feels like every old defensive free agent that they could find.
yeah,
And then they signed Geno Smith, the
yeah,
return of Geno at quarterback. And yeah, like Aaron Glenn, he said that Geno can take us to the promised land. And I respect what Aaron Glenn has done in his career, but I feel like in this short time that he's been a head coach, he does write too many checks. Like he said a couple of weeks ago, "Oh yeah, my superpower is defensive play calling." Okay, so why didn't you call the plays last year? So I am glad that this year he is going to be calling plays for the Jets on the defensive side because that's what got you this job in the first place. I think it's a kind of a mistake that we see from first time head coaches sometimes where they get their head coaching job and then they're like, well, I'm not going to call plays anymore because I'm the head coach.
yeah,
No, no, no. You should continue to call plays because that's what's got you here. So it's definitely, I mean, based on last year, I must admit, I am surprised that Glenn has got another year. But now he's got it. The direction he's gone in, I think, is the right one.
Yeah, he seems to have gone like veterans who at least are going to be professional and not going to let him down.
Yeah.
I don't know what the promised land means. I don't know what that quote means with the Jets. What's the promised land? First picking number 1 overall next year. Because it's more likely to be that than it is to be what the dictionary definition of promised land should be for an NFL head coach. So what's the promised land? They're picking number 1 overall. Gino's out of the league and he's out of his job. What's the promise?
Don't write these checks, that's what I'm saying.
That's be careful what you wish for. The promised land. Well, we're just working day by day to get better. And we truly sucked last year. So if we won 7 games, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's a marked improvement on where we were last year. So it's the New York media as well. It's tough. Like they're in his face all the time. But yeah, he didn't seem great in front of a microphone last year. Yeah, some guys aren't head coaches; they're coordinators. So, but we only find that out when they try to be head coaches.
Yeah.
Going back to your point about Reese, yeah, from the film that I've seen, like for him to be drafted number 2 overall, it's like wow. He's been spoken about as a number 2 overall pick, but I can see that he could be an incredible player if he projects into the future in 2-3 years, because yeah, he does have that kind of quickness that Abdul Carr did have.
But he looks lightweight.
Yeah, but
it's going to change.
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't look like a traditional outside pass rushing linebacker. He looks like, yeah, he's an off the ball linebacker, drop into coverage, help to stop the run.
He almost reminds me of Jahad Campbell from last year. Similar thing, like both really young, not they're growing physically, and they're obviously highly talented because they're being moved around across the defense. But
yeah,
Jihad Campbell was taken 30, so
yeah, it was.
Yeah, he had some injury concerns, fair enough. But the point being, to your point, number 2, it does feel a little bit high.
Yeah. Yeah, because you are looking at it like, okay, yeah, he could. But if you're drafting 2 overall, you want to be, no, I know I'm fairly confident that he is there right now.
Yeah.
He's ready to come in and improve my team right now. Yeah, I think it's a reflection of this draft. Like from what I've seen so far, there's not that much wow.
Yeah, like put him in last year's draft. I don't think he's going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah, but he's like the draft cliche, high risk, high reward kind of a player. Like the upside is there. So do a team like the Jets do that, or at least with the Jets in their offseason and the philosophy with the offseason, it would suggest the Jets won't do that because they're going with tried, tested, and true, known commodity, veteran free agents. So they might go, well, they're not. They don't need a tackle. That would be next.
But, and they're picking at 16 as well. So
yeah.
You don't want to take the tackle at 2.
So they trade back, or they take the best player in the draft, the safety. They take Caleb Downs. But then I'm hearing that's high for him.
Yeah.
It's high for him, but he's the best player in the draft. The draft makes no sense. He's the best player in the draft, but because he plays safety,
it's the value of the position, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what makes it tricky, because if the Jets were at, say, like 7, and they're like, yeah, we're taking downs. But because they're at 2,
Yeah.
5 picks before that or 6 picks before that, ooh, yeah, we'll go with Reese.
Yeah. And Reese could be a total bust
Could be.
because it might not work out at all because
Yeah.
we don't know exactly what he is. Oh, yeah, he could be a freak. Yeah, and he could be a total bust.
It feels like it's not going to be immediate.
Yeah.
To your earlier point, like, this is I don't want to go as far to say as a project, but he's got to physically develop to realize his full potential.
Mm-hmm.
And just based on what I saw, which wasn't, in depth, he needs to develop some pass rush technique as well. Because in college you can get away with just like, well, I'm really quick and I can bend. See ya. It's a bit of a different. It's a bit of a different ball game in the NFL.
You're lining up against guys who aren't going to make it to the pros, and then I'm playing against guys who are professional and the best of the best every single week in the pros, who have been doing it for a long time, who have been there, seen it, done it, like seen my moves before from better guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is that true. Wow, he could be anything, or he could be disappointing.
Yeah, and once again, it's in the context of going number 2.
Yeah, I don't like it at number 2, but like Eagles and your Ravens and stuff, if he drops and then they take him like late in the first round, like Jahad Campbell did, then you go, damn. They've got, like, again, a potential lottery ticket that is a lottery ticket. I mean, they're all lottery tickets, but Arvel Reese, at least from what I've seen, is a true lottery ticket. Like,
And Jahad Campbell, I don't remember him. I don't think he played to begin with, and when he did play, I don't think we heard his name much. So, and for good reason, because he's a young prospect. But you'd rather have that prospect at the end of the first round and say, we actually still feel really good about him. His development is going to come. Whereas the spotlight on a number 2 pick is more like, well, did he deliver in year 1? Like,
yeah, especially in New York. I hope for his sake he doesn't get drafted by the Jets. And the Jets just, if they're not totally sure, well, trades. I mean,
yeah,
it's next year. From what I've heard, it's next year. Next year is the year. The year.
Well, at least they're not going quarterback, I think, in this draft.
Yeah.
So, that's a mistake that they've probably made.
Who knows? It's the Jets.
Yeah.
Ty Simpson's drafted number. No, that just can't possibly happen.
We'll see at 16 what they do. But, well, pretty strong statement that Gino's going to take them to the promised land. So I'm going to say they're not going to. Yeah, they're not going to take Ty Simpson.
I wanted to hear the follow up to that. What does that mean to you? Can you define promised land? Because to me, that's just words.
Yeah. So, in contrast to Arvel Reese, we've also got Reuben Bain Jr., who, very different build. This is your quintessential power rusher. He played in Miami. I believe the defensive end coach was Jason Taylor. So that's got to have been a great experience for him. Yeah, what I saw was just, and this is the college level, just a bulldozer, pure power.
Yeah.
But there is an elephant in the room with him. He has shorter length arms, shall we say?
The T-Rex arms.
On the shorter scale. So I think they said 30-inch. And, if we look at the exceptions of recent past, you're looking at Micah Parsons, I
Yeah.
think he was 31-inch arms. Trey Hendrickson, 32-inch arms. So, it's not the be all and end all, but exceptions are exceptions for a reason. It's not like there are 15 Micah Parsons out there. There are a few unicorns. So
Yeah.
I think it's a fair challenge. It's going to come down to technique for him because his build from Arvel Reese very different. Like he feels more ready to make an impact from the get-go.
Yeah. The most recent memory one that springs to mind to me is the Will Campbell one for the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
Because, yeah, and he had a great year up until the point that he didn't. And then he didn't in the most important game of them all. And, yeah.
Do you remember the game against the Texans? Like he was just getting that was tough for him.
Oh, yeah, because it wasn't, the Super Bowl that. Yeah, but I don't. I do remember him getting smoked against the Texans, but then everybody got smoked against the Texans.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and including CJ Stroud. But yeah, so he had a great year up until the playoffs when you're playing against the best of the best. And yeah, then people were like slagging on him and forgetting that he had a good year. Yeah, but we don't care about that because
Suddenly the arms was like in the spotlight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so I think that might hurt guys like Bain now.
he's projected at around 10. So
Really?
yeah, but projected. That's the thing. Like for some teams, this is going to be a non-negotiable. They won't even look at him. Like if this was, and I'm just going off experience. If this was the 49ers, I don't think they would even consider him because their preference is actually long-armed edge rushers, like we've seen it in the past. So I think for some teams, it's going to be a no, and for other teams, I think they'll be fine with it if they like the player.
I heard an NFL draft evaluator that I respect his opinion, say that with Bain, he's going to be an NFL starter for a long time. Like he'll do you a job, but then he's probably not going to like take you to the next level. So just come in and be solid. But if you're drafting high in the first round, that's not kind of what you want. And yeah, that makes sense with the Will Campbell thing. Yeah, he had a good year. He made it to the playoffs.
Then the schedule got hard.
And then he got smoked against the best of the best. Yeah. But you don't play the best of the best well, you do. Obviously, everyone's professional, but you don't play, against that level of pass rush every single week. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. Loads of teams would just go, no, he's not even on our draft board at all. We don't care how far he falls. We just don't care. Like, no.
One team that it seems, well, I don't know. We'll see. But the Chiefs have asked for a visit with him.
Okay.
So maybe that's just to get a closer look. Maybe they'll have that look and say, yeah, this is an issue. Or maybe they genuinely are interested.
Yeah. I respect teams who at least have their non-negotiables though. I respect that. I don't respect teams as much as just can get swayed by the draft, the just chatter and the public opinion and fans' opinion and stuff. No, we have our process. Like we were saying before about the Harbaugh Baltimore thing. Is it Harbaugh or is it Baltimore? That's going to be interesting. So they have their process, and look at Ravens drafts. They generally don't look at them the year after. Look at them 5 years after.
Yeah.
Go, damn. How on earth do they keep doing it year after year.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, Bain's interesting, but yeah, interesting name with the Dark Knight and the God
Yeah.
going into the NFL drafts. Yeah, interesting. And yeah, and the draft is being held in Pittsburgh, where the Dark Knight, the football game, was filmed.
It was. It was. What number pick do you have? 21.
Typical
Have,
Steelers.
yeah,
The
right.
middle of, the middle of nowhere. No man.
Middle of nowhere. I guess I haven't asked you. Have you had any thought about what you might want at 21?
What I would want? Uh, no, I'm not going to say just best player available. I want to get younger on the defensive line. I want to Derek Harmon. Well, Derek Harmon was okay, but Herbig's being good. I don't know.
Yeah,
No,
Hayward's right up there now, isn't he?
it's not a good receiver draft. I would like receiver,
Mm,
but it's not a great receiver draft from what I'm hearing. We have tried to go defensive line. There's a few issues. I would like a linebacker. Not gonna lie,
yeah,
I would like a middle linebacker. Peyton Wilson, I like, but we could upgrade. Patrick Queen hasn't totally lived up to the amount of money that we paid him.
yeah.
I mean, he only seems to play really excellently against the Ravens because he has motivation there, but we only played the Ravens twice. There's a few that look, it's because I've just gone defensive line, wide receiver, linebacker. We are one of those that is boring, but it's true. Best player available, whoever drops to us at that time.
Yeah,
It's not, you couldn't look at the Steelers roster and go, oh my God, except quarterback. But, you know, we can't, we're not drafting one overall.
no,
So, and I really don't think they're going to just do something crazy and take Ty Simpson.
no.
So yeah,
If he's there in round 2, maybe, but certainly not at 21.
yeah, yeah, maybe. I wouldn't be delighted with taking Ty Simpson in round 2. I think
No.
third or lower, lower than third. If you're taking him at 2, then yeah, it's kind of smells a bit desperate.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you with your team?
So we are at, I want to say we're at like 28.
Okay.
We're at 27. Okay. So 27 trenches, like maybe that is actually a place where I would feel comfortable going offensive line.
Yeah.
If I don't know if this is a good offensive line draft, but yeah, for me it's got to be trenches because Shanahan knows how to work the skill positions, and I think defensively in the past it's more about the front seven. So either offensive line or defensive line.
Yeah, that's fair.
Probably offensive line though, because it is all on Trent Williams.
Yeah. When you're drafting like we are, in the 20s towards the end of the first rounds, then you can't say, yeah, I want him.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more stuff that the cards have to fall a certain way by the time that we are drafting.
Exactly.
So we hope that, someone does something crazy with Jeremiah Love and drafts him really early. And that we hope that,
Yeah, someone take Ty Simpson. That's
yeah,
another pick,
screw it. Take the LSU quarterback as well. Take him in the first rounds. Like, yeah, take 5 quarterbacks in the first. for it, guys. Go for it. Like, yeah. But yeah, yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Obviously, we have to wait and see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, Paul. Well, I thought we'd end on the draft. Well, it's not really a draft because this has proven to be difficult.
Mm,
We're going to do the fusion pick, and
okay.
we'll see what two teams we get. I've got a wheel spin here,
Yeah.
and we will just try and find the best player to have at least played for these two teams.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that they've been a superstar for them, but they've at least played in that jersey, a la Adrian Peterson has played for the Titans. So let's see. First spin. Come on, be kind to us because it's been difficult. Oh, okay, that's interesting. The first team is the Saints.
Okay.
So that could be interesting. There's been a lot of players that have journeyed through them. Ooh, the Chiefs. Saints and Chiefs.
Okay.
And we may need some help here because
Well,
these fusion things are. It's a lot less than I sort of thought it would be. Does anyone come straight to mind?
Honey Badger,
Honey Badger, that's a good one.
but was he that great for? He was still good for the Chiefs, but um,
This could be another bust.
there was a. I'm thinking that offensive lineman.
Offensive lineman.
Offensive lineman. I don't know. He's called Willie something. Willie.
It's like Willie Rofe or something.
That's it. Willie Rofe.
Yeah. That is pure Madden from that's where I've pulled it from. Because I think I had him at one point.
I think he was a pretty good offensive lineman. I mean, I'm not a fan of either of these teams, so
This is another one where Marquez Valdes-Scantling has ended up on the list. So we've done 3 of these, and MVS has somehow made his way to 2 of them. What else we got here? So okay, Justin Reed. I know not an all-timer, but he's a good player.
yeah.
But outside of that, yeah, tough.
So no Hall of Famers.
No, yeah, we have not really found a Hall of Fame. Well, our first one was Steelers 49ers, Rod Woodson.
Oh, Rod Woodson, yeah.
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 Mike Vick didn't make it to the Hall of Fame, but he was
never going to after the
yeah. He was quite an iconic pick.
yeah.
But this week it's not going to happen. No Hall of Famers this week.
That's the way the cards fall sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll go again next week.
We'll go again next week.
But yeah, Honey Badger had a great career.
Yeah, definitely. All right, mate. Good stuff. I think that's it for this week, and we'll see you next week. 1 week closer to the draft.
Cool. See ya.